Hey, hi everyone. This is Tarun. I want to share my experience of OMSCS machine learning course, CS7641. This was my ninth course, and I really enjoyed it. I feel this is one of the best course. We should not, no one should miss who is doing their masters in computer science from Georgia Tech. I wanted to give a very quick review and some quick tips. Of course, just a disclaimer: I'm not going to share anything specific to assignment or exam because I wanted to honor the honor code of Georgia Tech. Having said that, let's get started. So I think the first thing everyone should do before they when they are planning to do this course, come to this page, read this page at least 2 3 times. This is publicly available. Everyone has access to this page. It has a sample syllabus. You can take a look. All this take a look into the sample syllabus, and everything is there. So if you look into that, it's kind of a survey course. It gives a broader perspective of the machine learning. It doesn't go into depth, but it goes to the breadth of the machine learning, so that all the concept. After doing this course, you generally do not feel any ML concept is a foreign concept to you. You will almost know what it is talking about. Then going into depth is you can go further depth based on your interest. Uh, so I will go into detail about what it covers, but the best thing I want to share is that this course provides all the videos publicly accessible free. So if you click here, then you will go, it will take you to the course, what the course content and video, and everything is free online. And that is the best part of Georgia Tech and OMSCS, that they believe in the open innovation and open education. And so I'm so thankful for Georgia Tech for providing such a wonderful course. I learned a lot. I mean, it gave me a new perspective of the computing world, what's happening. I'm really thankful. So now, coming back to this course perspective, what it is, I mean, what you need to be successful. So I think it, as it says, it covers into three aspects, right? It talks about um, supervised learning aspect, and then it talks about unsupervised learning aspect, then it talks about reinforcement learning aspect. When supervised learning aspect, if you see that, it talks about most of the today's world. I think the all the big AI innovation has enlightened in supervised learning, where you have a data set which is labeled. You have literally have a labeled data, and from that you are trying to take, trying to make prediction based on that. So you have different algorithms. So it touches lots of different types of algorithm, from decision tree to neural network, then boosting, then you have SVM, and then there are other types of algorithms. So it touches all the different types of algorithms in machine learning world, where you can use those algorithms to analyze the different data sets and then make a prediction. So the best part of this course I like is that it doesn't really focus on your code, rather it focus on your analysis. So there is a pros and cons. So you will have to do literally a lot of coding and experiments, but you are not going to get credit for it. But if you don't, but you are going to get credit only for your analysis. But I'll tell you, do not get into that trap, because if you do not do coding properly, you cannot write your analysis. So, and if you, so I would still say, though in this course it will be said that I don't, the coding is not important, but I personally feel that coding is really important part of it. If you don't do coding by yourself properly and do the experiment properly, then you cannot write it. You really cannot write it, and then you are not going to get good marks, good grades. So the pro tip number one, though it will say that the coding is not there is no credit or grade for the coding, to the coding, do the experiment first properly, spend a lot of time. And I would say another thing: when you come to this course, really do not worry about grades. just keep grid concept out of your mind. Just say, because machine learning is a course. If you are taking this course, then you must be taking this for learning. If your goal is to learn and understand the machine learning, and you really think that you want to build a career and you wanted to add a value to the business, then if you take that mindset, you see all the rest of the things will fall in place. So my first thing is, have a mindset that you want to learn something. Do not just say you want to get a good grade, because I'll tell you, you will see a roller coaster. You might, the exams are very tough, so you might get a very low grade, but that really doesn't mean that your final grade will be low. Your final grade could be very good. So that happened to me also. So I would say the attitude number one is that, are you learning? Are you, your attitude should be to understand this field and learn. And it is very practical oriented course. It's focused on experiments, which is we do in real world, right? We do experiments. So focus on that. Number one, though focus on the coding, though it says that that the coding is not the important part, because and coding doesn't mean that literally you have to um, focus on your quality of code, how good Python code you're writing. Rather, I'm saying coding from the experiment standpoint. Your goal is to do some experiment, and you need to make sure that whatever it takes to write the code, you are doing the experiment, you are understanding the experiment, you are understanding the comparative analysis. Because the one of the thing it will basically look for is that it will ask you to implement various algorithms for various data set and ask you to compare various algorithms, how they perform with each other. And that's the important thing. So you have to do your experiment, but then you need to reflect on that experiment and write something. And it's a very beautiful way of organized course, I find. I mean, I have done other courses in OMSCS, but this one really stand out. I know a lot of people didn't like it's very open ended, but I loved it because this is how I work in my day to day life in my company. When I deliver something, I mean, exactly the same way this is done. So for professionals, it's a perfect course and you will learn. And second thing is the exams. Exams are really tough, but I didn't like initially, but eventually I understand the goal, because the course actually try to check your knowledge in two aspects. In empirical way, that means practical way, can you do practically understand, actually do the experiment. Second is your grasp on the subject, how you understand the vocabulary, literature, and the concept in ML, and connect that as a whole. So you may not do good. That's okay. I didn't do good much, but still I got A. So, but I really understand once the exam will help you to go through the course material, force you to go through the entire course material and the videos and the lectures, and think about it. And it is very hard. It's very hard, but once you give at the end of the exam, you will understand now that prepared you for the entire ML literature. So you will be very confident after that, that hey, you can now you do any experiment in ML, any read any research paper, and quickly understand what is this. So I'll quickly tell you what it does. You can really go through all these videos, so I'm not going one by one. All I want to say, it starts with supervised learning, which is basically a function approximation technique, and it talks about different supervised learning algorithms. Then it switched the gear to randomized optimization. So randomized optimization is a technique when there are certain problems you cannot solve in polynomial time. It may be an NP complete time, and that's why there are randomized algorithm optimization technique, like hill climbing, simulated annealing. Then there are genetic algorithms, mimic. So those are being used, and the fantastic thing is that you in your real world, like neural network, right, where you basically the neural network is also an optimization problem, because you optimize the weights and the bias parameters, and basically you basically create an equations, function approximation equations, and you optimize those parameters to create the create the actual functions. And the function can be a very complex function. So it basically every assignment relates to the previous assignment. So that's the beauty. So you are learning, it's not an isolated. Then you move to the clustering or unsupervised learning concept, where you learn about different cluster, about soft clustering like k-means, and then so have hard clustering like k-means, and soft clustering like Gaussian mixture model, GMM. And then you also learn about dimensionality reduction technique, which is very important. You must know the concept of dimensionality. We all know, right? That if you're working on a high dimensional data, then your need of the data is way higher. It is exponential always based on the dimension. So we need to that's why most of the cases we the first thing we do is we try to reduce the dimension, but without losing the actual content. Actually, so we should be able to still predict or derive the actual original thing from the lower dimension. So there are a lot of dimensional reduction technique like PCA, ICA, then has been discussed, and then RPA, randomized projection. This is a great, like, I mean you will really enjoy all these assignments, and this is very practical. We all use, and then once it is done that, then it switch gear to something called reinforcement learning, and that's a different aspect, right? In the reinforcement learning is basically uh, it's basically the agent is learning from the world, so there is no data set as such, where from the reasoning is done. Always it's learning and updating itself, and that's most of the things happen like in autonomous car or robotics. It's all reinforcement learning, and then it goes from reinforcement learning, it goes to game theory, which is like a same single agent to multi agent scenario, and then the core concludes the course. So it's very fascinating stuff. It also talks about Markov decision process in reinforcement learning. And also it touches the information theory, the basics of it. It says that it expects some foundational math concept, like eigenvector, eigenvalues. But I find that those are the things you can learn over the course. If you're a computer science background, and if you have done already a lot of courses in OMSCS, so it should be easy. I hope this thought is helpful. Another thing I would like to share is, please uh, do start the assignment ASAP. Do not wait for the last minute, because a lot of courses you can literally do, because and why you cannot do it at the last minute days, because you have to complete your experiments by yourself. Unless you do your experiment, you don't get the feel and you don't understand why. Because another aspect is, do not write your analysis just like a statement that you what you observe. Rather, you have to justify why it happened, connecting back to the learning you have. So this where you should not write actually what you just observe or just write the theory you learned from. Rather, you just write what you that justify your analysis. And another aspect is, please do focus each and every questions, because a lot of time, because there's a limitation of page, so do not write too much or do not write too less. Just be to the specific and concise. And another aspect is that, like machine learning, when we train a model, we actually improve over the time. So this assignment and the courses also expects that, most important, as I said in the beginning, the mindset should be learning. So once you are started learning, your learning should increase, so that your performance in this course also improve over the time. That's the expectation. It's okay to get a little bad grade in the beginning, but if you get a good grade later on, that gets rewarded. And that's how I feel it's a very fair course. And thank you to the Professor Ishabel and the TA, as they have done an excellent job, and I love this course. And and this is going to really help me. I mean, this is all about learning. Thank you. You can put something in my YouTube comments in case if it is not violating Georgia Tech honor code in answer, I will respond to that. Thank you.